Welcome back to the Board Game Sherpa, where we take the fear out of board gaming. Today, we have a special guest, my original Board Game Sherpa, Johnny Rocks.
What's up, guys?
Johnny Rocks is who got me into board gaming. So, I figured we'd have a little special and have our
top 10 board games. 2 Board Game Sherpas for the price of 1.
You want to start or you want to?
Yeah, I'll start. Right. Yeah.
And we don't know what each other has.
Number 10.
Okay, so my number 10 is based on a very popular IP. It's a campaign game, and it's also app driven.
Oh.
So you are trying to get a ring, or other people are trying to get a ring to a mountain to burn it in the original novel. So this,
I know what this is.
This is Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. It uses an app. It's really cool. I'm not sure if we played this, actually.
No, I don't like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, that's why we didn't play it. So it's a really cool game because you have like an overland map where it's hex based and you build it as you go. So then you're like traveling and you're trying to do like different missions, and you can miss certain missions as you're playing it because you might we don't have time to go there, so we're not going to see what's going on in that section. So then like on a replay, maybe you do it. So like it kind of like adds to that replayability. And then what they did also is they have a tactical board where, say, you'll go to a tavern and you'll be trying to find somebody that's like inside the tavern that maybe was part of like a plot to kill somebody, or it's like a traitor and you're trying to figure out who it is, and each mission will kind of change like that. And it uses a really cool card system instead of using dice. So you have like little symbols in the top right, or maybe it's the top left of every card, and it'll tell you how many successes you need, and then you'll draw cards from your deck, and then depending on how many successes you get, it'll tell you if you pass, like, oh, I want to attack this thing, or so. And then there's a way to manipulate your deck, so it's kind of cool because there's certain cards where you can peek, and then you can be like, well, I know I have 2 successes coming up, so I know I'm going to be able to take this thing on, or I can't. There's not successes, and it's really cool. So that's my number 10.
All right, my number 10. All right, this was an easy one. King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite games of all time, and currently. There's some games that are my favorite historically, but I don't want to play now. He wants to play King of Tokyo. I will break that out right now.
Yep.
You're Godzilla. You can fight King Kong. Now, mind you, these aren't the actual names, but you know what I'm talking about. You can fight Godzilla versus King Kong versus the alien bug. Right. It's great. Roll some dice. It's on my favorite gateway games.
Oh, yeah, you can break that out.
Someone's afraid to play board games, you bring that out, they'll play it.
You're specifying Tokyo, not New York, right?
Oh, no. Not King of New York.
Because you were super hyped about New York, and that I remember, like, after playing it, that was just...
King of New York went into the garbage. He remembers.
And it really does go into the garbage. I've seen this happen.
They screwed me. I went to Gen Con, oh God, it was 2014 maybe?
Yeah.
And whatever year it came out, and I was at that door. I ran to the ILO table. I don't run for anything. I ran to that table.
Yeah.
And I got there was 50 people online already from the vendor room. So that was just so unfair.
And
so,
you didn't get it, right?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it for a year and a half later.
Yeah.
And then when I finally got it, I was like, I wasn't into it.
Well, they had the Bronx in it. That was like
that was the only reason.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted it. But you make me wait a year and a half for a game that's subpar, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Right in.
Yeah, that was too bad.
Yeah.
I was really hyped about that one too.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So that's number 10.
Number 9.
This is definitely a game that you like this time. And I actually combined 2 games because to me, you have to play the first one before you do the second one. And this is Thunderworks Games. This is Role Player and then Role Player Adventures. Because although Role Player Adventures has characters, if you don't have Role Player, if you have Role Player, you have to roll your characters and then put them in Role Player Adventures. So I know we have a campaign going right now. Yep. I have a campaign with our friend Flounder.
It's right there.
Yep, this is the one we're playing. But we're a lot of cool stuff has happened. I don't want to give spoilers to the story.
We're vampires. Just let you know.
Yeah, and we're kind of like feeling that out, and we're not going the. I don't know if we're really going the good guy route. So, but to us, we're good guys.
Yeah.
So that's
vampires are misunderstood.
But it's awesome because you play as a game, and role player is a competitive game where you're creating a character and who create the best character based on what they need to do or what stats they need. But I always thought it was cool when playing that game. Whoever won that is kind of the party leader in role player adventures. So if there's any decisions to be made or there's like an impasse somewhere or what should we do, party leader. Unless you're completely outvoted, you get. I think you're the party leader.
Am I?
I think you are.
How'd that happen?
You won role player. So the new expansion just came out. Gold Pack's Secret. It was Kickstarter last
behind the
year.
BoardGame Sherpa game.
Pick it up. Thunderworks is an awesome company. Keith, you're awesome.
You do love Keith.
Yeah.
Check out the interview I've done a few months back with Keith.
Yeah.
The head of Thunderworks.
Yep. They just did a cyberpunk game,
Metro
Runner, that I kickstarted. Just no doubt. It looks
well.
awesome. Yep. So role player is. I think that was my first Thunderworks game, and it's awesome. So number 9.
Okay, my number 9. It's also a game you like.
Okay.
You have to look at it. Thunder Road Vendetta.
Oh yeah.
Woo! This is a game we saw. Gen Con 2022?
Oh, was I at that one?
We weren't at the last one. You weren't at the 2023.
We saw it that year?
I think that's what, because I got the expansions in 2023.
Okay.
Oh, wait, it came out before Gen Con. I bought it online somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't get the Chrome edition. I got the basic edition.
But what is that? What does the Chrome edition give you?
Nicer cars, nicer equipment.
Like better finish on the cards, or
yeah, I painted them. It works fine for me. Anyway, if you like Mad Max and you like racing games, it's Heat in Mad Max world. You're racing, and your component can do anything to knock you off the road.
Oh yeah.
We started playing. Let's play gently. It's like no. He came in. He's like no. It's like
I start ramming right after we get through the front gate or whatever when the race starts.
Mrs. BoardGame Sherpa was trying to play nice. And when I was trying to play nice with Miss BoardGame Sherpa, he comes in, let me just knock her off the road. Shoot a missile ladder from a helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yep.
The expansions are pretty good, but the original game's great. Even if you don't have Chrome. But that's my number 9.
And that was like that was Restoration Games doing a remake of an old game.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I think you rolled the.
That was so cool. I was trying to find that where you have the rollers that.
Yeah.
But it's a great game.
Yeah. Though I love what they did, where you add tiles and then you flip them and then you keep going until I guess in a 2-player game. It only goes so many tiles,
right.
But in a 3-player game, when the first person loses all their cars, then you just put the finish line on the last tile, and then things get nasty at that point.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, awesome game.
Number 8.
I don't think you ever played this game, actually.
All right.
It's a great globe-spanning game. It's like set in the era of like the first Indiana Jones, like back in the 40s, like when World War II was going on and stuff. It's a Flying Frog game, Flying Frog Productions. So it's Fortune and Glory.
Fortune and Glory.
Yeah, it's
that's the other game. That's the other game other than Shadows of Brimstone, right? That's the one that they promote.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, they're actually doing a new edition of it, a revised edition right now with a smaller box because it came in this huge coffin box. So they said they have all kinds of problems like with it getting damaged, and people return them just because it was so big. So they kind of condensed it down to like a square box, and
it's a table filler.
It is.
Okay.
Tons of, it's you basically play a character, you're going around the world trying to find artifacts, and one of the cool things about the game is that you'll have 2 cards, so you'll have like a card for like, it has a skull on it, and then like you'll have another card, and then you lay one over the other, and it'll be like the skull of the Crimson Hand. So like it'll create a unique artifact that you're going after. When there's like 4 of them, and you place them on different parts of the board, and then you're kind of just like Indiana Jones. You're flying across the world, You're trying to get to artifacts before the other players, and then there's also like I mean, how could I say this? I guess the Germans in World War II, like who were the bad guys in in Indiana Jones, they're trying to get the artifacts too. So you're trying to beat them, or you can play against the Crimson Hand, which is a faction in the Flying Frog universe that's kind of like a cult that they try to like summon eldritch monsters and stuff, and so you can pick like who the bad guys are going to be, and then you all play competitively against them. And you're trying to get these artifacts, and you're trying to get so many points. And then, of course, you could go to town. You can have adventures in town. You can, buy equipment, that helps you get around. And then there's like a Zeppelin that's coming around and trying to get stuff. And there's like soldiers like attacking. And then there's like little mini bosses for the bad guys that are trying to like lead the soldiers around.
I would like to say, the reason I got into board games is because of his passion for explaining games. I've never played this game. I want to play this game now.
I should bring it up.
Just the passion he has for explaining a game.
And I almost want to buy it again because like they're including new cards. They're including like the skulls.
You don't have it anymore?
I do have it, but I have the big like
coffin box.
The Titanic size box.
Okay.
So, but this was going to be condensed, which I don't care. I love the big box, but it fits like everything. Like I could sleep in it too. But there's little skull tokens that when you take those two cards and you say the skull of the Crimson Hand, you put the red skull there, and then you put the red skull on the map, and it shows you where the artifact is, where you can try to get it. You gotta go through some hurdles, but they're turning those tokens into painted skull miniatures, which, to their credit, you could just buy those, but I don't know. I kind of want to see what they're doing with the miniatures, and so I mean that's a long-winded. What was that? That was my number 8, Fortune and Glory.
All right, what is mine rate? Oh, that's easy. Okay, I promise this video isn't all about Thunderworks, but my number 8 is Lockup by Thunderworks.
Oh wow!
It's
awesome.
I've just recently got into it since this year, and it's part of the Thunderworks Ulos universe. But it's a great game. I'd say it's a what type of game? Not a.
Yeah, it's got like elements from a bunch of different games. Like a lot of people want to say Area Control.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
but it's like it's not quite because I think even Thunderworks kind of says it's not quite.
Yeah.
But
basically, you're in a jail, and you have different sections of the jail, and you want to control parts of the jail, and you for each one you have to fight each area, and with each area you get points and things to move your victory along.
Right,
and it's just such a great game. It's the cards, it's beautifully drawn.
Yeah,
painted, drawn, everything. I got the upgrade parts. And it just makes the game so much better.
Oh, what are the upgraded parts?
It's the little plastic things and the little plastic tiles versus the cardboard tiles.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yep. I got those too.
It's just such a great game, and it's in a universe I'm very familiar with Role Player Adventures.
Right. And they'll mention that prison in Role Player Adventures, I think. We got sent to Colback Prison, I think, in our story.
When we were playing Role Player Adventures,
cool. Yeah.
We're like, this is the prison. It's like, having played Lockup, it just locked everything together. Now I haven't really gotten into Lockup, Breakout. I'm not an expansion guy. He is. I hate expansions most of the time. So I haven't tried it yet.
The Thunderwork expansions, though, they don't, like, overwhelm you, really. Like, sometimes they'll just be, like, 3 cards or, like, 1 card, really. Like, they're pretty awesome like that. So, you might not...
Here's my problem. When you get the expansions, you gotta find a place for that little tiny box. Role player itself has a box that holds all its expansions, the big box, and it's a wonderful little thing. But that's another story. But
you got all the inserts for
that. I love it.
You had fun with that.
There's a video of me putting together the inserts.
That's nice.
Anyway, Lockup by Thunderworks. That's my number 8.
Number 7.
My number 7 is based in a universe that I know you like. It's basically the universe that began, I guess, in 1977.
Oh,
so it's Star Wars.
lightsabers around here somewhere.
Yeah,
it's right
geez, who doesn't like Star Wars? This is the game I'm talking about is by Fantasy Flight Games. It's Imperial Assault.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we played it.
I remember when you went to Gen Con, you had that big bag that you went to Gen Con. He bought this game. He brought it home.
The first time I heard about it was on the ride home because I missed the in-flight report that they used to do when Christian Peterson was. Well, they still kind of do it. They do shorts, but he used to do like a full PowerPoint presentation. It was like the highlight of like maybe Saturday night, and I think because we left Sunday. And we were driving home, and I was on the phone looking at like what people had taken pictures.
I was driving at the time,
right? And I freaked out because it was using the descent system for Star Wars, which was like a dungeon crawling type game system.
Is Descent the game you had all the extensions on your garage wall? Like you had like all those boxes, or was that Dominion?
Yeah, I mean that describes a lot of games. I have a wall of a lot of games if they have like expansions because I love Fantasy Flight and they just expand. Back in the day they used to expansion a game out, but well this one there was 2 modes for it, and I know there was some like tricky thing because the license for Star Wars games, if you had a miniatures game, like certain companies can only had the license for that, and then if it was like a board game or so there was like I know it was a weird thing with how they split that up, but there was a skirmish version and then there was a campaign version. And I love campaign, so I actually never kind of messed with the skirmish version. I always did the campaign, and just the campaign had amazing, just was awesome. Like one player has to play the Empire, and then everybody else it's like one versus many. But the Rebel players are leveling up, and then you're running into like famous characters from the Star Wars series, and in one playthrough we played it on vacation. I played with my family. I had this one like admiral directing everything throughout the game, and I kept losing, so he kept like screwing up. And the last scenario, they open the door and Darth Vader's basically choking this guy because he screwed up the whole game. And he's like, I'm taking over. And then I got to just take Darth Vader and chase after him. And they blocked the door with an ATST, and I had to like destroy the ATST. Like it was such a climactic finish to the campaign. Yeah, so just awesome stuff. So yeah, Imperial Assault campaign mode.
All right, well, my number 7. If you saw my number 8, you're probably not surprised. Number 7, Role Player Adventures by.
Did you put them together too?
I didn't at first. I mean, I love Role Player. Like Role Play Adventures. I love Role Player more than Role Play Adventures. Why? Because you can play Role Play Adventures with anybody. It's also a great gateway game to get people who like Dungeons and Dragons into board gaming. Yeah. Roleplay Adventures is an amazing game, no doubt about it. Yeah. But you have to find a crew of people to play. Like I said, we're in a campaign. Yeah. It's been going on for months. Right. So it's hard to love a game that you can only play once every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the only. I mean, again, Roleplay Adventures, wonderful game, and the expansions. Yeah. But Roleplayer the game, I can play that by myself at this point. Yeah. And I have. It's
And a lot of times that's like everybody's favorite part of like role playing is like creating your character, right? Yeah. I mean, so you make that a game. It's like, let's
in rolling the dice to create your character, you have an immediate thing that will affect you the rest of the game. So that's an important part of a game. Yeah. And you can play it over and over. You don't even need to move those characters into Roleplay Adventure, which is great if you do. But it's a fun role play. I don't like Dungeons and Dragon games much. I mean, I do play it. I
played it more than I have Dungeons and Dragons. I mean,
but Role Player is the best, and especially with the expansions, Monsters and Minions, Fiends and Familiars.
Oh yeah, Monsters and Minions is essential in my opinion. Like,
you fight Dracula, pretty much.
Yeah, but I will say when when I know I'm putting that character into role player adventures, I'll play role player differently.
Yeah,
That's the only
because it matters.
Yeah, because you're thinking, okay, what weapons do I think I'm going to need, and you kind of not necessarily like if you weren't, you're just kind of going after stuff because you want to win role player. But like I find that I look for different things. I'm not necessarily trying to beat everybody when I play role player to import the character.
Yeah, the stakes are higher when you go into role player adventure.
Right.
That was number 7.
Oh, okay.
Number 6.
My number 6 is based in a comic book universe that is opposite of your favorite. But I still think you like the game because I know you own it, and that is Marvel United by Simon.
It's right there.
We played it the one time, and then you went and bought it, right?
It's right there.
Yes, it's right here. Awesome game. Some of my favorite designers designed it. I mean, Eric Lang's awesome.
You met him at Gen Con that time, right?
Yes. Well, he walked by me. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but his designs just like they're really easy to. I think he was going to lunch or something. I was like, I'm sure he's been in meetings all day. Like I would feel horrible to hold the guy up. But all of his designs, I mean, every game that I think I've played of his are very easy to pick up, but very deep. Like they're very. There's a deep strategy using just very nice, like simple, streamlined rules. There's a nice cooperative element to it where you play the cards in a story like circle around the board, and the card that's played before you can actually, it'll help you out so you can kind of plan the turns together, and you're really trying to strategize, and the villains kind of make the game, like the villains and how you defeat them are what set the scenario. So like it makes it different every time. And of course like the locations change every time. And the miniatures are great. They're like like chibi style miniatures. They're fun to paint. I've painted the whole original Marvel set.
My number 6 is a game I picked up at Gen Con last year. After doing research of the top 10 games to go into Gen Con. After Us by Pandasaurus.
Yeah.
I love Pandasaurus. I love this particular game. Good. I love Planet of the Apes. After Us is kind of Planet of the Apes. All these, the humans are gone. The apes are inherited the earth, and now they're trying to create things. And you got to get pieces and seeds and bananas or whatever the hell it is, and create tribes of apes or whatever you want to call them, apes, monkeys, gorillas, the whole shebang, to win. And it's so amazing. It's just a great game. It's just
I love how you put the cards together and trying to line up the rectangles, right? Like to get the
you line up each card interacts with each other card, and then based on that on the lines you get resources based on all this. I do have a how to play this game somewhere on this channel, but it's you go through down the line, you get it all, and you buy stuff, and you get better apes, and better apes have better resources, and it.
Right. And don't you find like old things like computers and
you do.
whatnot?
Those are like the bonus things. Like if you there's things like they find. There's human things they find.
Yeah.
And
that's a game where like you start and you're like, I'm never gonna get to 50 points, and then all of a sudden you have one turn where you just get
50 points in one turn because you have.
I remember that happened when we played. Like you just all of a sudden you just had this explosion of a turn.
The one thing I don't like is that the apes didn't talk. It was Planet of the Apes, but it wasn't Planet of the Apes. These were just actual apes. It's like, if you're doing Planet of the Apes, make them talk. Have some sort of human interaction.
That'd be a good...
all the humans are dead.
Like, reskin of the game, right? Planet of the Apes? Like
it would be an expansion. Guess what? I don't like expansions. Anyway, that was my number 6, After Us.
Number 5.
Well, this is one you played.
Oh, no.
And it's definitely... an IP, I think that you like. It's a deck builder. It is the G.I. Joe deck builder by...
Is that right there?
Yep, by Renegade Games.
Okay.
And I have everything for it. It is great. It's, love G.I. Joe, grew up with the figures,
Just you do know I'm Destro, right? I do have a Destro costume.
Yes. James is more into G.I. Joe probably than me at this point. I mean, but this game is awesome. We just like I picked it up and I'm just kind of like, it's another deck builder, because I mean the Transformer one came out at the same time as this one, and I was kind of like this with it. I'm like, it's cool. I wasn't really into Transformers, so maybe that's like a thing. Like I'm more into GI Joe, but they definitely play different. They're not the same kind of deck building game. I think they're different designers.
I thought they
as well.
had different skins on them.
No, this is T.C. Petty the third, I believe. He did My Father's Work.
Oh, okay.
Which is another awesome game. And this game's great. It uses dice, which are very punishing, because you'll go on a mission and you'll have 8 dice to roll, and you're like, there's no way I can fail. But 3 sides of every of the dice are blank. So you could roll 8 dice and get like 1 star, and a star is a success to the mission. So like, there's been so many turns you just think you have it in the bag and you fail.
I think we had such a bad game we played it. We played that game, and I think I had such a bad rolling history that game. I think that might have been him.
I mean, I think everybody at some point, sometimes you get on these tears where you can't roll anything. Like,
right.
That
was my first game though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's definitely a challenging game, but they've done so many things, stories from the cartoon, and they just did a campaign expansion, Raise the Flag.
That was the flag. That's the one. They have a little miniature flag.
Yeah, you build it and then you upgrade it and you use it to go on the missions and stuff. And the story branches, so there's ways to win and lose the campaign, and like the campaign could play completely different.
Okay.
Every time you play it, and which I haven't done yet. I'm kind of behind.
When you get that, I'll play that one now, because I've been really interested in playing that one.
Yeah, I have it. Well,
okay.
Yeah, definitely do it. So it's a great game. I just pre-ordered the new expansion that's coming out. And it's based on the story when Storm Shadow goes on a mission by himself, so it's solitaire to rescue Scarlet, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then it also has a multiplayer mission as the second mission. I think that involves Destro. He's on the cover.
Destro has to be on.
So I'll bring that one up for sure too, just to refresh it before we go into the campaign, because before you get into the campaign, we gotta get our GI Joe skills, like up to par again. So that's my
number 5, I think.
Number 5.
That was mine. My number 5 is a different one. The Hunger. I don't even know who. It's right over there.
Yeah, that's Renegade.
Renegade. Okay.
Yeah,
and by Richard Garfield.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains why I like it.
You turned me on to that game. Love that game.
One time he was coming up for game night, and I said, let me get this game, see how I like it. Richard Garfield, you can't go wrong with Richard Garfield's games, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I got it, and we said, let's try it. It's like, you basically are vampires in a mountain, and you have to go down the mountain and,
terrorize the surrounding village.
and get up before the sunrise.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool. There's so many different ways to get people, get points, and
then there's that tavern where you could just go into the tavern and just take out everybody that's partying there and get yourself a bunch of points, and then it takes a while for that to refill. Very cool. Yeah,
I didn't realize it was a Renegade game, but Richard Garfield was what sold me on it. Vampires and Richard Garfield? Come on.
Did you get the expansion for it?
I do have the expansion still in wrap. The expansion's over there still in wrap.
Oh, okay.
I'll never play it.
And it's werewolves. It adds werewolves to the game.
Yeah, nothing. Werewolves okay.
It's really cool. I'll bring it up.
I have it.
Okay. I have mine ready to go. I don't have time to.
What? Punch out? punch.
No. We played tonight. All
right.
But it's. I haven't got a chance to put the expansion to the table yet, but I've read the rules 5 times, and it's cool.
Okay, it's a great game.
Cool.
It's a wonderfully the artwork on that game is amazing too.
Oh yeah, and I love the whole deck building aspect, and then when you I guess you devour a human or whatever, and they go into your deck, and when they come out, they could give you indigestion. If they were there's some people are spicy and stuff, and it's it's really wild. It's the difference.
It's clever. There's a lot of clever things in that game.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my number 5, The Hunger by Renegade Studios.
Awesome.
Right.
Number 4.
Now we're getting to the real ones.
Oh yeah. This you're gonna have to stop me. I could talk for hours about this game. No. This game is based on one of my favorite IPs. I think it's become of almost all time. I even have a tattoo of something from this universe. Love the games, read all the books. There's a few board games coming out that I've kickstarted and I'm waiting for. This is The Witcher Old World by Go On Board Games.
I didn't really like The Witcher.
Love The Witcher.
You have a Witcher tattoo?
I do. It's right here.
Okay.
Yeah, love it. This game is set before the time of Geralt. So it's back when all the Witcher schools were functioning, and they're all based on a different animal. So you have the school of the wolf, you have the school of the viper. You know, and they all kind of focus on the different thing. Like the wolf school, where they're about doing like sword combat, and then like
claw.
What's that?
The claw. That is different.
Yeah, I guess that's hand-to-hand combat. But you know, everybody in the game, it's a competitive game and it's a deck building game, and then you're traversing across the whole continent, and you're trying to be the first to get 5 trophies, and you get trophies by killing monsters and by fighting other witchers. Oh, and you can also max out some of your stats and then kind of like meditate, and that'll get you like a trophy card. And there's a real cool deck building aspect to it that I have all the expansions for it. So there's a mages expansion where you could play as a mage. Okay. So it's like some people could play witchers, some people could play the mages, and the decks, the cards work a little bit different for each one. And I've only played witchers so far, so I think my next game I'm gonna play as a mage. The production value, I have the big box of this game was the Kickstarter, full of miniatures. I painted all of them except for a couple. There's a Wild Hunt cooperative expansion. I haven't painted those because I've just kind of been doing strictly competitive right now. But yeah, it's awesome, and every time I've played it, it just is epic. It just feels epic. Everything about it just. It's a lot of fun. Takes a long time to set up. Takes a long time to play, but completely worth it. Okay. I love it. So, and that just came out. That just came out a couple of years ago. And
yet another game that I'm interested in because of his passion for it.
So that's my
4.
That's number 4. Yep.
Right. My number 4. You may or may not know this one. I know you know I like it. Quetzalcoatlinburg.
Oh wow! You really like it.
I got that game because everyone loved it at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me try it. I remember I was like, hey, John, you want to try Quetzalcoatl? And he's like, nah, everyone loves that game. I was like,
That's what I said?
I remember something like that. But it's like, it wasn't on your
radar. I
played it. But you played it and you was like, It was, even though everyone loved it, like, a lot of games.
Yeah.
Like, and I got Flamecrest. Everyone loves that game. I hate it. But Quetzalcoatlinburg, it's like, it's a game everyone loves. And it's like, you play it, it's like, wow, this is a great game.
Yeah, that push your luck.
Yeah,
type,
you keep going down to the
potion explodes in your face.
Yeah, and then I went to Etsy and I got the upgrades. I mean, I spent a good penny on those upgrades, and it was totally worth it.
Because you pull them out of a bag.
Yeah,
and then it messes them up after a while.
Yeah,
like I've seen so many people like after 4 or 5 plays,
and
these
little cases.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just a fun game, and it's also a great gateway game. Even though it's a little. When you first open it, it doesn't look like a good gateway game. But as you play it, it's real easy.
Yeah.
And once people figure it out, and it's pretty easy to figure out, they'll get it. Miss BoardGame Sherpa loves it. Like, it's not.
We have fun with it.
It's not 5-minute mystery from Mrs. BoardGame Sherpa, but it's near the top.
Wow. And then, you know what? That game, I prefer it without any expansions. Like, I've looked at the expansion.
Yeah, I didn't get the expansion.
I'm like, it doesn't need it.
Yeah.
You know, it plays great, just base game. You know.
Yeah, upgraded, but not expanded.
Yeah, totally.
So that was my number 4. So top 3 time.
Number 3.
Oh, my number 3 is an awesome game. It's based. There's a lot of different versions of it, and I include all of them. Because if it has the certain stamp on it, I'm playing it. I'm loving it. And this is Zombicide.
Really?
Oh my God! Yeah, I especially I have to mention the campaign expansions that they've done. They did the Western one, Alive or Undead. Undead or Alive, I think. I can't remember right now. That had a campaign expansion in it. That was cool. That's a very hard version of Zombicide. That is very challenging. And we play it when we lose all of our characters in the campaign. Unless, you can have 2 or 3 still alive. If they make it out, they'll find new people, and then we'll get new characters. But if we lose everybody in a scenario, we end the campaign there. Or at least, I'm running it. I say we ended it.
Well, that makes sense.
Maybe everybody else doesn't want to do that, but...
You wiped out. It's time to reset.
Yeah, there's got to be consequences, like, and it just makes every decision you do like that much more stressful. Like I had extremely stressful moments sometimes playing where it's just like I want to save that person, and there's a really good chance that I'm going to sacrifice my character to save them. And I actually sat there for about 10 minutes, and I'm like, do I really want to do this? Because I got this guy right where, I've leveled him up, and he's got, like, you could save equipment to... Well, let me go back to...
I'm gonna be very careful about what situations I get in with him, knowing that he has to think about, saving his friend or losing his stuff.
I kind of role-played it, because I was like, they've been so close. I mean, if this was a movie, I was just like, he would go in there and get him. And we pulled it off. And it was just...
So you did save him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like... And I was just kind of like, afterwards, I was like, that was so cool. Like, and all the times I've been playing board games, it's just like, this moment was just... This game really affected me on some level that, it's just moving plastic figures around, rolling dice, but it was so much more than that at that moment. It was like life and death. It was... That's when I think I really fell in love with Zombicide, especially the campaigns, which of course are hard to get going because you need everybody to show up. It's one of those games too that just has just enough rules, and it's always a fun time. It's just, and then as the zombies build up, I mean, sometimes you'll have a decision that you'll know like that's where we lost the game. We should have went this way and we went that way. That guy should have attacked. It's awesome. So that's my number 3.
I will say, back in the early days when I was a young board game Sherpa in Wannabe, and he was rolling strong, he brought out the original Zombicide with me, and we were playing it. We were down at your house, and it was like late at night. It was quiet. We're playing, and we went into a room, and all of a sudden that room just burst alive with zombies. Yeah. It was just that moment he was talking about. I was like. Your heart was beating fast. It's a stupid board game, and your heart's racing like if you're really like these zombies really were in the room with you. But I haven't played any of the versions since because how do you top that moment? But when DC zombies come out, I'm Zombicide. I'm in. But yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, so good.
Also goes to show why he's the original board game Sherpa.
Oh, that's so many great moments playing that game.
Right. So that's number 3, right? No, I didn't. That was yours.
You have to do your number 3. Yeah.
Well, my number 3 is might surprise you.
Okay.
Splendor Marvel. Right?
Really?
Now, mind you, I am a DC person. I couldn't tell you. Wow. I couldn't tell you squat about anything outside the movies in Marvel. But before Splendor Marvel, I was playing Splendor a lot. I mean, I had the apps, and I was playing that well. And
we first played that at Gen Con, the original Splendor, and you were like, I like this game.
And then when I watched the Avengers with what's the glove called? The Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
I thought that would make a perfect connection with Splendor because it was all jewels.
Yep.
And then when they came out with it, it was the most. I was like, they got to screw it up because whenever you have like a good when you have an IP mixing with a game, they mixed it perfectly.
Yep.
Each of the jewels in the gauntlet matched, and it's like you have all these heroes, and the heroes I like. I mean, it's like they have a bunch of heroes I had no idea who they were, but like Captain America, Spider-Man, and Hulk, Loki, Thor, all those guys.
The favorites,
all the favorites were there, and
then some.
And it's a quick. Most importantly, it's a quick game. Yeah. You could probably knock it out in like a half hour.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's again a great gateway game. I mean, I've gotten about 5 people to play that game who bought it afterwards.
Awesome.
Because again, they come in for the Avengers, but stay for the great gameplay that Splendor is.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to play Splendor Duel because I love Splendor so much.
Yeah. Anything dual I don't know. 2-player games are just very limiting.
Yeah,
I like a big group.
Takedo Duo is great.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Takedo's great. We got Takedo doing. It's a different game, but it's still in the right universe. So I wasn't worried about it.
Dual games are probably great for like couples, right? Like you know, because you're always kind of around each other, and it's like it's something.
I do have a best 2-player games, 2-player couple games.
Oh, I'd probably be hard pressed to.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the games that were on there. They're usually the top.
I could probably throw something together for that.
Yeah,
Actually, one comes to mind right now. I love that it's 2-player. So I'm kind of, I don't know what I'm talking about. I actually do like a lot of 2-player games.
And hopefully this is the first of many appearances on the BoardGame Sherpa.
I'd love, yeah, that'd be great.
So all right, so Splendor Marvels is my number 3.
That is a surprise. Wow. Yeah.
Number 2.
This is another game from an IP I've already mentioned on this list. It is a card game. You played solitaire, you play 2-player, 3 up to 4. It's a cooperative game. It's the comic world opposite of the one that you like.
Okay.
It is Marvel Champions by Fantasy Flight Games. I've
never tried it, have I?
No.
Okay.
No. They have, of course, the initial game had 3 villains. You can, just kind of do like a one-off game against those villains. And then the expansions started coming out for it. They do single hero expansions, which is just a deck for a particular hero. Every deck, there's certain cards you have to put in the deck that are like based on the hero, and they just nail it every time. I mean, there's some heroes people debate or were done better than others, but it's a different game every time you play a different hero. You got to kind of get used to their style, and there's 4 different aspects that you could. There's 4 aspects, and then there's a basic aspect which everybody can pull from when you're building a deck, and then you have to pick one aspect like aggression or leadership or justice. So you're kind of like trying to thwart the villain schemes. I've found that as somebody always has to play justice. I think that's like a mainstay in the games. But the cool thing about the game is like you play through the campaign again as a different character, and it plays completely different. Or you want to see, how will this character do if I bring him through to fight, Red Skull, and they just got into X-Men, and of course I got everything. If they come out with character packs, it's just awesome. They just came out with Deadpool, and it's real like funny, like the cards.
Okay.
How like he's like crossed things out on the cards. It says if something says good, he says the best in the universe, or just like it's real jokey, like that. And my friend Drew is trying to figure out like. I think he says he's figured out how to like really make the deck work, and he came out with a new aspect pool, the Deadpool, when they came out with his character. So it added like a 5th aspect, and you also have the basic. But it's just I look forward to it. Like when I'm playing Marvel United later that day, I'm just excited. Like I can't wait to play it, and I just love. When you do a good combo and you have a good turn, it just feels great. And when you win...
Was it Marvel United? Or the other game?
Did I say United?
You said United.
Oh, Marvel Champions. Okay. Did I say...
You just said United. You've been saying Champions.
Yeah. I meant to say Champions. But I'm just so satisfied. Like, when you win, I don't mind the losing. I'm just like, what could I have done better? And that's probably a big part of the game that I like. It almost doesn't even matter. It's Marvel. Like, it could have been anything. Because I like Marvel, I like DC. I mean, I'm not just like I don't play that game because it's Marvel. I play it because of the gameplay and how it challenges you and it has worked its way up to like number 2 on my list. I don't know. I just really enjoy playing it.
Okay.
So
no one's arguing with you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 2. I think you might know this one. It might surprise you.
Okay.
But my number 2 is a really new one. Sky Team.
Oh yeah.
It was a game.
Yeah.
It was a game I researched for last year's Gen Con, and I was like, it looks. When I was looking at it, it could be either really sucky or it could be really great.
Right. And it was getting a lot of hype too.
It did get a lot of hype, and it had the pieces in it were amazing.
Yeah.
You basically have your your control panel, and you have a pilot and a co-pilot. It's a 2-player cooperative game.
Yeah.
Right? And even the intro game is hard. And one of the things they did, and they have no idea, but it was to make the game perfect for me. When I picked up the game at Gen Con, they had the LaGuardia Airport, which is is my local airport.
Yeah.
When I growing up, so we were able to play an airport we knew, and it was like you're basically landing a plane, and you have to get everything right. You have to have your flaps up. You have to have your landing gear down. You have to have no traffic. You have to be coming at the right speed.
Yeah, and you can't really communicate, right? Like
no, you can't. So we're 2 players, and based on the dice you have, you're picking. What's that called? Not air control. What's the other one called? When you're putting the dice down to places.
Dice placement.
Dice placement.
What is it when you place dice? What is it? Dice placement.
So anyway, you have 3. That's the number that's going into one of the pieces. So you want to keep your flaps up. You put a 3 down. And he doesn't know, and he doesn't know what I'm putting down. I don't know what's in his hand. So if I put a 3 down and he has a 6, we're dying, right? Yeah. But
that's so cool.
It's so cool to have the 2. Basically, you're landing the plane, and you have to keep your flaps, your engines,
and then you're coming up on other planes, right? So you got to clear them out of the way by like the radio or something. You got to So it's like, we can't ignore that. They're coming up. We're getting closer.
It's stressful in a good way.
Yeah.
Like I don't know about that stressful in Zombicide. That was like, I was like, because when you start making
it's different.
Will I leave this guy behind in real life if something came up?
Yeah.
No, but you're coming in. It's like it's intense and it's just so cool. And I do have a How to Play Sky team on this channel somewhere else. I have a lot of these things.
Yeah, I remember when we were playing that one night, and I was like, "Let's do LaGuardia." And it felt so good to land because it was a challenging airport. That was after. We did pretty good that night, I think.
Yeah, we got a rest. We crashed a few times. But even the initial one, it takes a while to master that. Like it took us this is a basic intro game, and it's like it takes you a few times to get past it. And then there's different levels. There's easy, medium, hard, super hard. I haven't got that level.
Ooh.
But there's like you have to refuel. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to come in this way with a certain speed.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of there's a lot of things. The snow.
Oh no!
It's such a great game, and it's just a fun. I did try to be a pilot at one point, so I guess I'm.
Oh yeah,
and I'm a TIE pilot. I'm a rebel pilot.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it might just.
There's a theme here.
I think it might be a theme, but it's such a great game. It's
awesome.
I don't think it could ever upset my number 1, but it got really close this year.
I have no idea what your number 1 is.
You
know what my number 1 is.
All right, so that was my number 2.
Yeah.
So now it comes to the big one,
right.
the top game for all the enchiladas.
Okay.
Number 1.
Number 1 game.
I know what it is now.
So I mean,
you have to tell them.
You want to tell?
Go ahead.
It is a Flying Frog Productions game. It is I don't know. It's a dungeon crawler. There's a huge role-playing element to it. There's a miniature assembly painting part of it, which he knows very much about.
Just tell the name.
It is Shadows of Brimstone.
Shadows of Brimstone.
Everything for it. I mean, we could go. They just did Vikings. We have Spanish conquistadors. I just kickstarted Tombs of Commentet. We're going to Egypt. We're also going the Impossible Hell Train, which was like an impossible stretch goal in the first Kickstarter. They actually did, and everybody's been clamoring for it for years. Like in the Shadows of Brimstone community, it was like, I think they said stop the clock, it's happening. It was a huge thing. This game, I've had so many great experiences, and a lot of the people I've played with, just like. I mean, I don't even know where to start.
How about I start with them?
Okay.
I would never play Shadows of Brimstone with him for years. Why? Because he loved it so much. If I didn't like it, we weren't friends anymore.
Well, there's
seriously, really. he wouldn't talk to me if I didn't like this game. Anyway, so last year he couldn't make Gen Con. I went to Gen Con. I went to the Flying Frogs.
Yeah, that was cool how that happened, I think, because you would have never gone in.
I wouldn't have gone in. Yeah, because I had no fear of you.
Yeah, because I was bugging you. I was just like, get me something from, like, see what's going on,
So I went into the Flying Frogs booth in Gen Con. And I thought I was talking to some rando there, like the guy who just got pulled in off the street. I was like, oh, hey, you. I ended up going to the founder. And he was just so nice to me. Like I was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm never going to play the game, but my buddy loves this game and he wants whatever's new. He spent over a half hour with me, explaining stuff.
That was awesome.
And I have a whole series on how I got into Shadows of Brimstone, and based on them being so nice, I started playing it, and then it kind of broke my fear of that I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, because you were kind of like, I want to check out what these guys are doing because they were so awesome.
Yeah.
It just piqued your interest because you're like, I love the company now. So
yeah, this is same with Thunderworks. He was a great guy to me, and I don't mind. I will give them a shot.
Yep, it goes a long way.
Like Aiello with King of New York, I'll never.
Yeah, it was a bad experience.
Yeah, but what you call it, Flying Frog and Thunderworks are just amazing.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm sorry.
No, I just really think the role playing part of it, like that, it's a board game. There's rules how you move. It's not like a role playing game where I'm gonna jump off the wall, but there's a lot to it. Like it's everything's on the board. You have all kinds of different monsters. There's a lot of different player classes that you could. It started out in the Wild West, so my first character I think was a piano player, and he was really weak, but he was fast.
Right.
So I couldn't damage stuff, but I could dodge things. But you'll go on a mission, and then you'll either pass or fail the mission, and there'll be consequences for you'll get stuff if you win. Extra experience, or you'll have like bad things kind of happen to you that'll linger a lot of times because you're playing a character from level 1 and they only go up to level 8 right now, which it might go higher in the future. So you're doing all kinds of stuff and you're following your character throughout like its whole career. I mean, you're playing that same character, you get attached to the character and the stuff you get. Well, I had a piano player. And when you go to town, you'll play a mission, and you'll go to town, and you'll kind of resupply, and you'll have like adventures in town. You can gamble. Well, my thing was, I could play the piano, so I would go to the saloon. Like I'm gonna go to the saloon, play piano, make some money. Well, I would get my butt kicked every time I go to the saloon. Like somebody would beat me up.
You gotta beat up the piano player. It's a Billy Joel song.
Oh my God! I would make money, but I would get like hurt every time, or I would say, somebody's like, oh, I got, anything I did would always like wind up with me getting something bad happen to me. And then, but I would make my way. I would do a couple damage here, and everybody else in the party would do like more damage, and I would just kind of like dodge, and I was hard to hit because I was so small. Then we went on they came out, tons of expansions, like. I mean, the stuff I brought when James did his video series was like not even a dent in my collection.
You see the wall right there? That was like for one game.
Yeah.
That was he brought like he has a filing system for this. He has crates of like folders with different. It's amazing,
right? And I mean,
you don't have to go that deep. I mean, I enjoy the game a lot.
Yeah. And that's a big part of it to like facilitate the game, like because I kind of run it when I play it, and when we do certain things, I have to find tiles, so I create like a file system, that speeds it up because I used to have them just in a pile. Now they're kind of like in like little like
it's
file
impressive.
folders.
It's impressive,
which really helps out. And
but you don't have to do that to enjoy the game.
No, you don't. But it's like it kind of goes against like it's a lot of work to get to the table, but it's totally worth it. Like I would not. I think about it all the time. I was like, I have to go through so much to set this up, and I like to play with everything, which you don't have to do. You could scale it down. You could really play it to whatever level you want. Like, you don't have to play your whole collection. I like to, because it's like, I spend time painting the stuff, I want to use it. I want to I want to have fun with it. But you don't have to go that far. I put everything out, so I have to shuffle a bunch of card decks and get miniatures ready to go because I don't know what enemies we're going to face. So I got to kind of stage them and all this kind of stuff. And it just, to me, like any other game, I would just be like, I don't want to play this. There's a lot of work. And I've got to that point here and there where I need a break, but I always come back because it delivers on so many fronts. Like story-wise, you want to progress your character. There's different expansions. You're going to have a different experience, and there's gateways to different worlds. So you could start out in the Wild West, and then you could go to like a spaceship that's adrift in space with like astronaut zombies, or you could go to campaign I'm doing now. You start in Japan, and then you could go to the Wild West, or you could go to Caverns of Cinder, which is like this molten lava world, or you could go to like this frozen alien world. Like
Valhalla. I love that.
Yeah.
I got the Viking Valhalla. Is the only version I'm playing. I played, and I love the fact that yes, you can get it, but then you can add feral vampires. To the
which
Vikings.
we'll come back to with my piano player, feral vampires. So I want to circle around back to that one because, but no, you go to these alien worlds and you'll get like a laser gun, and you bring it back to the Wild West and you could sell it or you could keep it. And now your character is like an outlaw with a laser gun that he got from this world. And the story, you remember how you got it, and the story, like the items have a story, and it's like, oh, I got this on that world, and remember we had to fight this thing, and it's just such a cool thing. Going back to my piano player, he was, struggled. He was a small guy, gets beat up when he's trying to play the piano and do his job. Well, then I got bit by a vampire, and I turned into a vampire. Then everything changed. My strength went. It was awesome. And of course, you could try to cure the vampirism and all this stuff. I did not. It was the best thing that happened to him.
I agree.
And it was awesome. I was, and everybody had to kind of stay away from me because I would, if you got too close, I might want to, get a snack, But it was great. Well, let me just stop and just say my number one is Shadows of Brimstone. Everything for it, because I could just keep going on.
He could.
And I'll let James.
You wonder why I feared playing it.
So there it is.
All right. My number one. Shadows of Brimstone.
Oh, are you serious?
No.
No. There's. I almost believed you.
Don't get me wrong. Shadows of Brimstone is definitely on my honorable mentions list.
Yeah.
But it's the same reason role play adventures isn't on there. It's a campaign, and I need people to play it. And playing once every couple of months is not the same as something I can play.
Yeah. It does have better stop points, I think,
it does.
than a lot
of stuff. Like you can stop anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
But my actual number one, and you really should know this one.
Okay.
It's a game he got me hooked on years ago.
Oh.
Luchador. By Backspindle Games.
Oh yes.
And it's been on this channel many times. It is my favorite game.
Yeah.
It's wrestling, and it's dice chucking wrestling. It's fast. There's chairs.
Always yelling.
Yelling.
Like everybody's always yelling when you play that game.
It's a fun game. I haven't played this game in about 6 months, but my favorite character is Dolores. Dolores. And it's like the names are great. I remember the names. I can't remember names of my friends who I haven't talked to in a couple 6 months. I can't remember these stupid character names. El Cuervo Vuelte.
Oh man.
And this game, you have a little ring, you have little characters. Yeah. We brought in we 3D printed little chairs and tables so we can smash. Oh, nice. There's a new version called Lucha Wars by Backspindle, and it actually has a cage and all that stuff in there.
Wow. But they took it to another level.
It's a great game. It's not as great as Luchador will always be my favorite game. Although
that's awesome. Yeah.
So that's my number one. I mean, totally different. It's like it's just. I can't name another person who would put in Luchador in their top 10, let alone first.
I know, Luchador is great. I just love that original game. Like all you have to give me is that square board, the dice, and the standees, and like it's great. It's fun.
That game is what board gaming is to me. Just fun. It's like you're hanging out with your friends, throwing dice, yelling at each other.
so wish we got that tournament together. Like I still want to do that.
We literally have belts within. I can see two of them. For we don't have a whole luchador tournament.
We gotta like maybe at a con.
But if we get that many people together, we're playing Adventures of Shadows of Brimstone.
Oh, yeah.
It's
well,
hard.
luchador is really easy to transport. Like we bring that to Gen Con and just be like, who wants to be in a luchador tournament or something?
Ooh.
Just set up on one of the tables.
BoardGame Sherpa. I tell you, Backspin, if you're watching, sponsor us. We will have that tournament at Gen Con or PAX.
Oh yeah.
Or level
with belts.
With belts. I got the belts in that drawer right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my number one game, Luchador.
Awesome.
So there you have it.
Yep.
Our top 10 games currently. You want to go to our honorable mentions?
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
Okay. You want to just list them all?
Yeah, just list them.
All right. Talisman is one of my favorites.
Okay.
All the versions. Just it's it's fun. Yeah, Batman one is great.
I have it right behind you.
Yeah, you play as the villains. You're trying to Batman's coming around and beating you up, and you got to get out of the asylum. Descent, first and second edition. I loved first edition. The Road to Legend campaign was great. It's a campaign game. It's a dungeon crawler.
I've never played it.
No. Legends of the Dark, app driven, and it's like 3D terrain.
Okay.
It's kind of tedious to build the terrain, but it's you build it as you go, and I always enjoy playing it. Thunder Road Vendetta is honorable.
We didn't have a lot of overlap, did we?
No, we didn't actually.
Other than role player.
No, yeah. Another one is Thunder Rolls. It's a Richard Launius racing game. It's like NASCAR, where you actually you roll dice, and I guess it's like dice placement, and then you have a second round every round where you've drafted cards, I guess, and you play the cards, and it's basically, I think it's like a couple laps, and it's like you use a lot of tactics in NASCAR. That was a great one. Restoration Games Dark Tower. That was just.
I've been wanting to play that.
It's great.
I have a feeling it'll make my list if
I'm bringing it up.
That's one of those top games I want to play.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's another app-driven game. Very cool. Battlestar Galactica. I have all the. Oh, yeah. It's the newer Battlestar Galactica. James is strictly the original.
I don't like the traitor part. The traitor part of that game.
Oh.
No. I didn't like that game.
Oh.
And it lasted.
One person's a Cylon.
Silent. It was a traitor, and it lasted over 4 hours. It was like it was on its way to lasting 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I've had fun with it.
And it's not. It's the new Battlestar.
Right. I was waiting for us to get there. Okay, and Eldritch Horror and Arkham Horror are great games. Fantasy Flight. It's basically Lovecraft. It was definitely a cool design. I felt so. I still have that in my collection. Usually if I don't like something, I'm selling it. It's out.
Versus me.
Real estate is very limited.
Versus me in the garbage.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. If you can make some money and somebody else loves the game,
I get it. I did make money off of those Dice Masters.
Oh, okay.
I had that random.
I remember
card.
that. Yeah,
I was all happy.
Yep.
Jackie saved that one out of the trash and got me to sell it. All right,
you're very passionate. So
passionate in different. We're passionate in different ways.
Yeah.
You got all your honorable.
That's it. That's all
my honorable mentions. It's Thunderworks Cartographer. I play Thunderworks Cartographer a lot, but I don't play the board game version. I play the online version.
Okay.
Because it's just so much easier to keep track of everything. So
it is a good app.
It's a great game, but I wouldn't consider it a board game.
Oh no!
Even though I have it, it's on the walls. It's right underneath Carcassonne.
Yeah.
But it's a great game. But I'll never play the board game because it's just too easy to play the.
I play either. Really, I like.
It's just you have to the drawing. Online. It just keeps everything nice. That's my first one. My second one, you probably expected. You probably expected this might be my number one. Survive. It was old Parker Brothers, and then Stronghold picked it up. Yeah. And this is the game that got me into board games. I love this game. If we're talking historical, that's at the top of the list. Yeah. It's a great game. I haven't had the urge to play it in years. It's a very important game to me, but it's not my favorite game. Next, Turing Machine.
Oh,
it's a great board game. It's not really a board game. It's a multiplayer game. It's not a multiplayer game. It's like Code 777, which is kind of an honorable mention. But you have a number, and based on like 3 or 4 questions. You can figure out the number.
It's like logic.
It's a puzzle, and it's a fun game. And the actual physical game has the mechanics. It's magic. I don't know how they do it, but it's a magical thing, and it's big on the list.
Awesome.
And then not an honorable mention, kind of. It's every game by Days of Wonder. If Days of Wonder comes out with a game, I'm buying it. I mean, I got a whole wall of there. Shadows of Camelot, Mystery at Abbey, Coliseum, Five Tribes, Cargo Noir, Heat. You know, they're all great games.
I think Shadows of Camelot is like one of the first Hidden Trader games I ever played.
That's one thing I didn't like about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it took me a while to find that game.
Cargo Noir,
that got some people to fighting.
Yeah, I would never think that about that game.
That's the game.
So...
It's cutthroat.
Wow.
And it almost was a fist fight. And
I've only played it once. And I enjoyed it.
It is a fun game.
Yeah, I haven't played Heat. I got to try that one out.
Oh, we can try it later.
I love racing games.
Heat's a fun game. And it's got an artificial intelligence thing that's actually really impressive.
Cool.
So there you have it. There's our top 10 current games. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully this will be a regular thing on the Board Game Sherpa. Please post your comments. If you agree with us, don't agree with us. You want us to keep doing it this way, or want me to go back to the other way?
Yeah. You want me to get out of here?
Yeah. Do you like John or you hate John? I like him, so that's my vote. But
all right, cool.
The masses will answer that one.
Yeah. Yep.
Then
all right.
we're both going to Gen Con this year.
Yes.
Maybe backspinel. You get that Luchador tournament. Come find us.
Yeah.
Anyhow. All right, that was it. I hope to catch you next time and see you real soon. All right, take care.
Yeah.